beautiful Saturday morning to all my rural extras out there. This is Eric V. Rural Extra here with you, just inside Elkmont, which is part of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. It is an old town from years ago that was a big industrial town at one time. They done a lot of logging here. Quite a few families that lived here while the loggers were working. But the part that we're in right now is actually called Daisy Town, which is a very small area of Elkmont. If anybody knows that much, and I really didn't know that this even existed until just recently when I saw videos of it on Facebook. On YouTube. And was watching it and was really interested. The National Park Service actually just redid these cabins here. Now, these cabins were abandoned for years. You could come up here and go through it and everything, but they were deteriorating and stuff. And what they were cabins of the more wealthy and influential in the Knoxville area. And they come up here during the summertime and stayed in these cabins and all. But whenever the National Park Service, of course, whenever they bought all of this land, they left these cabins, and the National Park Service didn't really do anything with the cabins for a number of years. Like I said, you could come up here and see them, but the National Park Service finally, a few years ago, come up here and restored these cabins to fairly nice condition, and made parking and all where you can come up here and walk through them and everything. So anyway, that's what we are doing here today. We are going to take a little tour through these cabins and see what they look like. I've been really interested in touring these cabins ever since I saw it on YouTube recently. So anyway, with that said, come along and join me if you will. We're looking down the main strip right here between the cabins. It kind of sits over on a little knoll, and I think there's a river close by. I hear a river, but also I know that there was a river over here at one time. Well, was a river because I saw it in some of the previous YouTube videos that I watched. And so anyway, yeah, these cabins are really restored pretty well down through here, as you can see. So we'll explore around here a little bit. We're entering one of the larger cabins on the upper end of this. You can see a fireplace here. Nice looking view out. You can tell that these are some of the old windows here, because like this one right here, it's kind of wavy and all. I don't know if it's because the cabins wasn't built with precise measurements and stuff like newer houses are, but they are very, very uneven. The floors are. It leans. Yeah, someone's put up tape right here. I guess they had a bad spot in the floor, because it looks like it's just been repaired and replaced. I probably didn't want people walking over there. There may still be some rot, even though they have redid these places and all. But like I said, the floors, and here's an old stove that was left here. But yeah, an old sink. Looking out the windows here. Ooh, have to step down. This must have been like a pantry or something in here. It's got very low ceilings here. But then you go into the kitchen area where there's very high ceilings. Got like a overhead windows up there, probably to bring in sunlight for extra lighting. Ooh, what this is. Oh, this is a bathroom. Yeah, you can see the sink and toilet in there. It must not have been here at one time. This wall with these windows, they probably just put that in there to keep people out of there and all. But anyway, that's one of the first cabins. Let's go and explore some of the other ones. Yeah, Teresa was probably right. This is probably not one of the best times to be coming up here. This is on a Saturday, but we decided to do this on the way out of town, on the way back home. But yeah, just walking around here. This must be like the dining room back here. Got several windows overlooking, and then you had some other rooms. And this might have been a bedroom right here. And there's the bathroom. They probably cut these holes in here. This probably didn't used to be in here. This window, they probably cut it in to let you be able to see into the bathroom without actually going in. Probably didn't want people going in there because I'm sure there's not running water. But here's the kitchen area now. Shelving. Looks like a coat rack there. Might have hung coats or other things, possibly for the kitchen itself. Here's another room that looks like it's been cordoned off. Keep people out. Don't know if maybe the floors are just so unstable they don't want people taking a chance of going in and falling through the floors. May have to do some more rework of the floors and all. As you can see, there's a lot of waviness in the floors and all, unevenness. One of the plaques here describing the Daisy Town's eclectic architecture and what the materials they use and the designs they come up with for these houses and stuff. And all of it was very rudimentary because these were built, I think if I remember right, somewhere back in the some of them look like 1800s and early 1900s. So, as you can see. Here's another one over here that we've been going through. And again, one of these bathrooms with the door with the windows in it. I'm sure that is because of letting you be able to see into the bathroom without actually going in there, because I'm sure that they're afraid that people might be taking advantage of the bathroom. But here you got, looks like what, maybe a little bedroom, maybe a child's room, and then a big fireplace. I think all of them has big fireplaces in them like this that probably actually burn wood, and I would say that this was probably the master bedroom, and unfortunately you can't see in there. It looks like there may be a mirror over there, but that's probably a bathroom, I'm guessing. Here's another cabin down here at the end of the street that we're fixing to go in, the outside of it. Now we've come along this street through here and went in quite a few, well, several of them. We're fixing to go in this one right here. Just going in and follow Teresa and Jalen on in. Now this is more of a cabin with hewn logs in there. And I'd say this is a bedroom, probably a child's room here. And another child's room here. See what this view looks like. This is just looking down the hollow right there. Got a big back porch here. Looks like it might have had a door with maybe stairs going down into the hollow. But yeah, you can hear that. There is a babbling brook down there someplace. You can kind of see it down there. But yeah. It did say in that plaque they took advantage of open air spaces like large front and back porches where they could come out and sit in the shade and all. And here's the kitchen here. It's a little room off of the back porch. I don't know if you can go through this door. Let's see. Yep, it goes outside. Okay, it's going out here. There's a set of stairs that goes down. I think Teresa and Jalen have already left and maybe went over to the bathroom. Now we're starting back on the other side, and it looks like this probably was a very large screened-in porch at one time, because that's what it looks like it's framed up for. Probably had screening on here. It could have been just open, but I can kind of imagine it being with screen and all. See, it looks like you've got some doors over here that probably had screen in it at one time. One there and then one there as well. And as you can see, these windows are very old pane because it's got waviness in the glass itself that you normally wouldn't see. These days, with the modern glass that we have, it's very clear, very straight now. These as well. What's going on here? There's a large room. I don't know if this is like a living room or maybe a master bedroom. We've got a fireplace over here, painted black. And that's kind of odd that it would be painted black. But then you go on back here and it looks like maybe a dining room and another big porch out here. And you can tell, I'll kind of straighten it up. It's a little bit sloped, quite a bit sloped, I would say the floor here. But let's turn on around and go back in. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe a bedroom. Of course, here's a bathroom, tub, toilet, and small sink over there. And then this looks like the kitchen because you've got the cabinets over here and the sink. And yet another little porch out here. Well, not so little. It actually comes back and goes back the other way. And here's a fairly large cabin here. And now this porch looks like it was probably open. I don't see that it would have been screened in from the looks of the railing around. It doesn't look like it would have been screened in, but still a very large porch. Now, as we read earlier, that was very prominent on these cabins, was open air spaces like that. And then you go into probably what looks like a bedroom. Got a little space heater. Now, we used to use those whenever I was growing up. I remember those little electric space heaters like that. When I was growing up, we had them throughout our first house that we lived in. Here's a couple of holes in the floor. Looks like where my aunts probably were at. And it looks like some sort of a storage room, mud room or something out here. Go on out here. Now, this is probably another bedroom. Maybe for the kids. There's a bed frame here. Going over here. Looks like you could open up these windows and get quite a bit of fresh air in here. Another little bedroom here. There's all kinds of little bedrooms all over this place. That must have been a bathroom, yeah. It's got the little moon shape like on an outhouse. And this has to be the living room, den, whatever you want to call it. Yep. Now here's a little green cabin. Very rustic on the outside. You even got some, looks like just limbs that they used to hold up the, I don't know, I don't think that's part of the actual structure to hold the roof up. I think that's just for decoration, but it's still very unique, very nice. And of course your open air spaces and all. Probably a screened in porch at one time. And go right into the living room. Looks like you got a double fireplace. You might have a living room here, and then oh no, that's just the back side of it. I thought it might have been like a double-sided fireplace. There might have been another fireplace on the other side, or it went all the way through, but it doesn't. And yeah. A little small, looks like a bedroom or something for the kids, possibly. And then you, of course, your see-through door into the bathroom. Don't think I'd want to be sitting in there using the bathroom if that was actually a window door like that. Oh yeah, and here is the kitchen. Teresa was just telling me about the kitchen, and there was actually a Lazy Susan that that is very unusual to see in a kind of a rustic cabin like this. That is neat though. When you turn it and it closes down. A little bit hard to turn, but yeah, they must have modernized this kitchen a little bit before they moved out or something. Don't know, but yeah. And you can see cracks in the floor right down to the ground. And this is of course the dining room with a table, big rustic looking table. But someone would like to have that for their house. They'd probably finish it up and polyurethane the thing. That's what I would do. Anyway, here's a cream colored interior. It looks like probably the dining room right here. And all those windows looking out give natural light in here. And I don't know if this is part of the living room or the dining room or the living room here. Might have been just the living room with built-in shelving there. And this looks like a huge, possibly a master bedroom. Something in here. There's a lot of outlets and panels, electrical panels, very early electrical panels. Got a lot of windows in here giving natural lighting. Let's go back here and see what we can see back here in the back hall. Oh, here's the kitchen. About missed the kitchen. Yep. It was very busy when we first got over here. It seems like a lot of the people have kind of left now. Maybe it's just getting towards lunchtime and they were wanting to eat lunch. But it looks like they might have had a little dining area out here possibly too that was screened in where they could come out here and eat their meals. And this would have been nice and cool in the shade, listening to the babbling brook over there. Here's the outside of another cabin, fixing to go in. The blue one looks like it's got a lot of lights up above right there for natural lighting on the inside. Fixing to go in, looks like Teresa and Jalen are already in here. Oh yeah, this is nice. There's all those windows for natural light spilling into the living room area, and there's the fireplace right there. And more windows down here. Very nice. Whoever built this one put a lot of thought into natural lighting. Even got one kind of a dormer window up there overlooking the hallway. And it looks like probably a little bedroom right here with more windows over it. And then the bathroom here. These people didn't believe in privacy. Did not believe in privacy. No, they probably cut those out, like I said, to keep people out. But of course, this is the kitchen, as you can see. This is very, very basic and old style looking cabinetry here. It looks like you got a back porch out here. This probably would have been a nice area for, they actually have a closet over there, almost looks like maybe a pantry. And might have had a table out here at one time when they sat out here and ate. It might have been screened in and all. But this is really nice. They had a back porch here, but it probably had stairs that went off down to the hollow below or something. And wow, this is really big here. This must, I don't know if this was a bedroom. Let's see, well, there is a bathroom here. So I bet this must have been like a huge bedroom. Wow, this was nice. Whoever had this really put some money into this. Looks like they had almost like a walk-in closet too, with shelving all the way around. Yeah, that's nice, very nice. Well, this concludes our little tour of Daisy Town, part of Elkmont town here in the Great Smoky Mountains. One thing I didn't show, which was down past the actual houses themselves, is a clubhouse. And I think it was built years ago as well as a gathering place for the families in the community that came up here. And I was just reading a plaque there, and I was going to get a little video clip of it, but the sun was hitting it just absolutely dead on, and I took a picture of it. I don't even know if the picture came out. If it did, I'll display it right here, and you can actually read it for yourself. But basically what it said was that people that come up here was families from the Knoxville area, and back then it was very hot, and of course back before air conditioning, and so they would come up here and vacation in the mountains in these cabins they built. And that's probably the reason why they were so rustic and very rudimentary. They built them out of things that was available at the time and all. One thing I did find interesting was the fact that there was actually train service up here. So there was a rail line that actually ran up here. Now, I'm sure that that's long gone. There might be some remnants of it. I really don't know. Haven't really looked into it or anything, but I did read in a couple of places where the actual town of Elkmont was served by railroad, and they probably come into Elkmont and then walked or rode horses, whatever they had as far as transportation at the time, on up here to Daisy Town, as they call it, which is just kind of like a suburb outside of Elkmont and all. Elkmont now is actually a campground, actually one of the largest campgrounds in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, from what I've read. But anyway, yeah, we pretty much have toured, well, at least the highlights of the cabins, the town, and everything. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more similar content. And with that said, it's actually getting close to, well, actually it's a little past 12 now. So we're going to head on down the road and hopefully get on out of the park where we can find something to eat lunch, maybe a little bit late. But with that said, God bless, and we will see you in our next video.